Yeah.
And it's a very good morning to the Gelding on Cup Day, Gelding.
Good morning, Professor. Yes, a rather chilly Cup Day, but let me say, we've actually got sunshine out here in Caulfield South, Professor.
Well, there's sunshine also in the leafy, far eastern, almost suburbs of Melbourne.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Well, we better start the show, Gelding, because it's a 10-race card. The first's in just over an hour. The last is at 5:15, so it's a big day of racing. The rail's out 2 metres, not in the true position, and let's not have a discussion about that. The track is currently a soft 5, which is very good. Showers during the day, though, Gelding, so the track might get downgraded if there's a lot of showers.
Showers, Professor, or thunderstorms and hail, I've heard.
Well,
predicted.
It's a day for keeping indoors, Gelding.
Yes. I think we'll both be indoors, Professor. Not a bad place to be.
All right. The feature race, of course, is the Melbourne Cup Group 1 at 3 o'clock over 3,200 metres. Gelding, there's 6 best bets today because we're both going to have a tip in the Cup. So give me your 3 best bets for today's Cup Day meeting.
Well, Professor, yes, we've decided to go 6 bets, saying our normal 2 bets and then one in the Cup. Look, Professor, as I spoke to you previously about it, I like 4 or 5 in the Cup. I'm just finding it a bit hard this year. Big push on number 8, DeVille Legend. One of my favourite riders in Karen McAvoy has stuck with this horse, picked this horse out nice and early. Professor, I had a bet on this horse and Loft a couple of months ago when the markets came out. So hopefully doing a bit better than the odds on the TAB today. But look, I think this horse may drift a little bit today, Professor, just with the amount of money that's bet on the TAB. So I've gone race 7, number 8, DeVille Legend, hoping that it'll hit $4 today. And, that's pretty short in the Cup. It's a 3-year-old in English time, 3.5 over here. So it's weighted as a 4-year-old with 55. That'll be a bit of a weight carrying record, but let's hope, Professor. My other tips, going very early, Professor. The horse will think it's a track work at 10:45, I think. The 2-year-olds, again, race 1, number 1, Zulfikar, I think is the way you pronounce it, Professor. It's a Godolphin horse, trained by James Cumming, to be ridden by their stable jockey, William Buick, who had a very interesting Derby day. This horse won the Melbourne Plate trial at Flemington on the 1st of October. Won by a neck, but just the way it won, Professor, over the 1,000 of which is today's race, 1,000, it got out there and hit the lead and ran on. And I think hopefully it can do the same today. A lot of unexposed form, Professor, with some of the other horses. But as you well know, as we've said many times on this show, Godolphin or the Blue Army run their horses in the right race. So this is obviously this horse's race, even though Godolphin do have 2 other runners. When they put their William Buick, their number 1 jockey on, I think that's a good sign. So race 1, number 1, Professor. And then I'll go for what on a very hard day, I think maybe the best bet of the day would be a race 4, number 12, Quong Tri, trained by Paddy Payne, ridden by Mick D. Mick D in fine form, winning the Caulfield Cup. And then the Derby on Saturday. Paddy Payne has placed his horse beautifully. I thought he would have gone for the Oaks with this horse, Professor, this 3-year-old filly. But he's kept it back at 1,800. The horse has had 7 starts for 3 wins and a second and 2 seconds and a third, Professor. So I really think this could be the bet of the day. Race 4, number 12. So just recapping my tips, Professor. Race 1, number 1, Sulphur Cure. Race 4, number 12, Quong Try. And in the Cup, we will try number 8, Deville Legend. And you like, Professor?
Yeah, Gelding. I'm starting off in race 3 today, the Sub-Zero Handicap, benchmark 90 over 1,400 metres. And I like in that race, horse 4, Ascension, coming out of barrier 5. It's had 19 starts for 6 wins and 3 placings. So a 32% win rate, a 47% place rate. It's third up. It's won its last start at Caulfield over the same distance. Gelding, what I liked about it is third up horse. It's had 3 wins as third up. So why not today?
Yep. Amar Eustace horse.
Yeah, Amar Eustace horse, and one of our favourite riders, Johnny Allen in the saddle, Gelding. He's in career form. Over his career, 15%, but over the last 50, 16%. So, and you can get $4.80 and $1.95, Gelding. So I think that's a very good way to start the Professor's tips today. My second selection, race 10 in the security sprint, a listed race over 1,200 metres. I like in that one, Gelding, horse 6, Najmati, coming out of barrier 9, 11 starts for 4 wins and a placing, so 36% win rate, a 45% place rate. It's won over the distance, Gelding. It's first up today. It's history over first up, 3 starts for 2 wins. So it can win first up. Its last start, Gelding, it was a second in a Group 2 at Eagle Farm. So that's pretty good.
That'll do you.
That'll do me. Currently, Gelding, you can get $6 and $2.20, but I got $6.25 this morning, so I'm pretty happy with that. Trained by the Snowdens, Gelding, and one of our favourite interstate jockeys on here, Gelding, Tommy Berry.
Tommy Berry. Yes. You notice we're leaving J-Mac alone today, Professor.
Well, he's not in the Cup, so we can't pick him in that one.
Yeah, that's right, Professor, but he's got rides in a lot of the others, and so I suppose we're flirting with danger today.
Well, maybe he's used up all his winning potential, Gelding, because he's had a fair spring carnival so far.
Oh, he's had a great carnival, Professor, and look, I'll be saying to listeners, you can't go wrong by following him. He's just a fantastic jockey, but I think some of his better rides may be on Thursday and next Saturday, Professor. So they may be his big days of the carnival. This may be his quieted book of rides.
It certainly will, Gelding. All right, now the Melbourne Cup, Group 1 over 3,200 metres, race 7. What is the Professor's selection? Well, I'm sticking with the winner of the Group 1 Turnbull Stakes. We did discuss that on That's Racing several weeks ago, Gelding. Number 19, yes. Number 19, Smoke and Raymond's. We have followed that horse, so this is a That's Racing special.
For $17, Professor.
Yes, $17 and $5 a place. So I've loaded up on that. Jamie Carr's in the saddle, Gelding. It's about time she won the Melbourne Cup.
Yep.
So she's almost in career form. And Mar Eustace, well, we spoke about them on Saturday, Gelding. Career 17% win rate, but over the last 50, and especially during a spring carnival, Gelding, 30%.
On fire, aren't they, Professor?
And I think the danger, Gelding, is horse number 4, Montefilia.
Yeah, as I said, Professor, that's one of about half a dozen, I think, that got a very good chance in a very open Melbourne Cup.
All right, let's go to the Professor's Parlay, which wasn't as successful on Saturday. The Cowboys and the Bills got up yesterday, Gelding, but La Crique didn't run up to expectations that you and I thought it had the ability, but it
the spruik on it, Professor, was is it one to follow? Let's see. But look, I thought we were a chance at the 200-metre mark, but it got swamped. But geez, the way it was being talked about, the best horse out of New Zealand since Del Rios. I would have thought that.
Well, it ran to that form, Gelding.
Yes, it did, Professor. No, the best horse out of New Zealand since Sunline. I think Sunline's reputation is still well intact.
Yes. Anyway, look, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but it doesn't get the parlay up. So let's go one bet at a day. The agreed bet of the day, Gelding, race 4, horse 12, Quang Tree. And let's parlay that into the NFL, given how well we went with the NFL over the weekend. Friday's game this week, Gelding, Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Houston Texans. The Eagles are number 1 in the NFC. Haven't lost a game all season, Gelding, so they're 7-zip, plus 78 points differential, playing the very disappointing on the bottom of the AFC. So they're 16th, only 1 win and 1 tie from 7 starts, Gelding, minus 38 points differential. Eagles too good for the Texans. And let's parlay that into a sport that we don't often bet on, Gelding, the NBA.
Which surprises me, Professor, because it's basketball, certainly one of your, one of your fancy sports. So, well, when you know the form in America that well, both in NFL and basketball, I'm surprised we haven't gone it more often.
Not surprising, Gelding. I think we've only dabbled in the NBA a couple of times and been unsuccessful each time. A friend of mine said, and a lot of people do say, a basketball game is, look, why don't you set the clock at 2 minutes, give each team 100 points and start from there?
Yes, Professor, I can understand that, but that can also be said about the 2020 cricket, can't it?
Yes, that's why we don't bet on that, Gelding.
Yes, set them at 100 and give them an over each. You'll save a lot of time.
I think the money bet today, Gelding, and punters will have to get on shortly because it starts in not too long. The Milwaukee Bucks on top of their division, undefeated so far, so they've got 5 wins against what I believe will be a very disappointing Detroit Pistons. They've only got 2 wins so far, and I think that's the money bet. All up, Gelding, Parlay's paying 3-1, so that's a very good return on investment.
That's like, as we said, Professor, let's hope we get this horse leg up first, and then we can barrack for the other sports during the day.
All right. Now, Thursday, Gelding, is Oaks Day, and I understand that you're heading out to Flemington, and you also might have a runner on the day, which would be a terrific thing. Yes.
That little steed of ours, Drop the Mic, has been entered for a $500,000 race on Oaks Day. Still negotiating with the trainer on whether we start or not, Professor, with First Emergency, but we can talk more about that that's racing on the Thursday show. But also Ron from Port Arlington has a runner in the 2-year-old race in race 2, Professor.
Was that the one that ran a couple of weeks ago?
It is up tune. So, there may be a little bit of interest going around tomorrow on Thursday. Subject, of course, to my trainer and negotiations with her. But we'll talk more about that on the show for Thursday's racing, Professor.
We might have to get up a little bit early, Gelding. I believe that you're starting very early on Thursday.
Yes, Professor. So it's very interesting. People were going with, a very, how would you say it? One-minded in what they think what time you should be at the track. Like in the background, I've got the Channel 10 coverage for the Cup, and there's a few people out on the track already, Professor, but I don't think I'll be this early on Thursday, but having to get there and all that. So, yes, it'll be an early start.
All right, Gelding. Well, good luck to punters today. And until Thursday's edition of That's Racing, it's good luck.
And good punting.